Okay, we are going to start out on the UMed map again, and I'm going to be showing you how to download data from Avenza that can then be sent on for making map edits, or that you'll be able to use as well. But before I do that, I just wanted to make a couple more comments about Avenza Pro. I wanted to show you that I had actually gone into some of these points, these place marks that I've been created, and I've made a few edits to them. These ones remain the same that I have, but I went and added some features that I would like to add to the map. And so if I click on this place mark right now, which I've called a ditch, and go into it, you will see that I've actually added a description. It says add drainage ditch here. And adding those descriptions can be really useful to help you figure out what you want that map to show when you're doing the final edits. So a pretty important thing to just get used to doing that. And in fact, you can see I can also do it for a track. I've gone into the track and I've created a description in the track that says a small footpath. I also wanted to show you another feature that I sort of started to show you in one of the other videos, but I just want to make it a little bit more clear. Let's imagine that you want to show an area and you think an area should be changed maybe for a type of vegetation. We can go to this little measurement tool in the lower right-hand corner again and click on Draw and Measure. And then we can tap by going to Add Point, and we can create an area. And when we've created that area, you can see at the very bottom, sort of on the left-hand side, left middle side, there is a box. And when you click on that box symbol, it will complete whatever area you are trying to show, or create a polygon, as it's called. And then once we've created that polygon, it will show up on the map as well. And if we click that polygon, here it's an area, we can again go to the description, and when we're in the description, we can type whatever we want to type here. And I'm just going to add that I wanted to show heavy vegetation. So I'm going to call it heavy veg and call that good. I can go back and you'll see it's now added to that. So going back to this map, you'll see that there are a bunch of different features that are added. The next thing to do is to go down to the layer button that we looked at before. Click on that layer button and you'll see there are now 7 objects in it. And if you click on those objects, you'll see what they are. The area I just created, some controls, the track, some other features as well. If I click on the little hamburger menu at the very bottom of that, it will allow me to export layers. So I click on Export Layers, and then I want to export it in 2 different formats. The first format I'm going to export it as will be as a KML file. And you can just export any tracks as lines. Go to the bottom and click Export, and it will export that for you. And it will ask you how you would like to send it. And I just send it to myself as an email usually. And send it away, and it will appear in my email later. In addition to sending it as a KML file to yourself, go in and create a GPX file as well. They show up a little bit better in Open Orienteering Mapper, and they can actually be used sort of side by side. So I'm going to send that one as well. And I'm going to email this one to myself as well. And so they should all show up later. Let's leave Avenza behind now, and let's go and take a look at these files. All right, here we are in Google Earth Pro. I have received by email the 2 files that I created, the KML file and also the GPX file. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the data I created on Google Earth Pro. To do that, I simply go to File, Open, and then find where I have placed that file, and I placed it on my desktop so it would be easy to find. And here it is right here. I'm going to open it up, and you will see that the symbols that I created in Avenza have all been placed on the map. If I go over to the layers on the left-hand side and expand it, you'll see that underneath the layer are each of the different changes that I made on the Avenza map. You'll note that a couple of them have been underlined, and the ones that are underlined are the ones that I placed a description in. So if I click on area here, you'll see that it not only says area, but it also includes the description of heavy vegetation. If I click on this one called depression, you'll see that it says depression, but I wrote in the description that it needs the tick marks that are going to show a depression on it. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the track that I created right here and the description of a small footpath. So this is really useful to make sure that everything is properly geo-referenced and you've collected it as you wanted to. In addition to this, this KML file will really prove useful for the cartographer who is making the final edits, because they will be able to take a look at any notes that you've left here and figure out exactly the changes that you wanted to make. The other place where we can look at these changes is on Open Orienteering Mapper. So this is an open source cartography program that's used by the club now to make all of our maps. So here I am in the UMed orienteering map. If you go up to the top of the page and click on the template button here, you can open up the template setup window, which I've already done. The template is located right here. If I then go and add a new template by clicking the plus button here and click on open, it will again take me to the location of my file, which is the desktop again, and then I'll be able to find the GPX file instead of the KML. So I'm going to click on that UMed Avenza file and open it. It's going to ask you if the file is geo-referenced, and it is. So you can click on geo-referenced, and there are the things that we've added. Now, one thing you'll note is that it actually places everything underneath the features that you're looking at. So go ahead and click on that template that you've added and move it up with the arrows so it's above the map. So now we can take a look at it. And if I scroll down here, you'll see the features I added. There's the path I added, and that can now be edited with a path if you feel comfortable doing the editing. If not, someone else will be able to do the editing for you. You can also see the names of all the place marks you've created. Those names do not appear for any lines that have been created. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to have both the KML file and a GPX file. And you'll see here, I just want to show you that all the other data I've collected is here as well. As I move, there's where that depression is, there's where the dish is as well. So you can, of course, make these edits. For the edits to become finalized, one of the folks who does cartography in the club has to have access to the file and will save it on the Orienteering Club's GitHub site that will then make it one of the, one of the changed maps that is to be used officially. So again, if you have any questions about any of the stuff whatsoever, I am happy to take your questions. You can look me up on the Arctic Orienteering website in the board of directors. So that's all for now. Thanks again for all the work that you do with maps, with route setting, and with edits.